So one of the big things at Marbert is mentorship. Many of our students are engaged in mentorship programs, and so we have the Young Men of Marbert. But beyond that, we also have opportunities for students to engage in book studies. And the book study we're doing now is the PACT, about 3 young men who decide to become doctors and make it out of Newark, New Jersey. And I thought it was a good book for our young men who are about to transition to middle school. So I have a group of 12 fifth graders, and we've been reading the book and talking about the book and talking about positive peer pressure and how to navigate and how to set goals and work toward them, and how we can make sure that our circle of friends, we're all moving in the right direction. So I think that's important. That's a rich discussion to have with young men at this point in their lives.
This experience was very good. When I first saw the cover, it says, three young men make a promise and fulfill a dream. That really interests me a little bit, and he made us read the back, and that brought me in more, and I was curious, so I started reading the book past these weeks. I think it was only 1 week, but past these weeks, I have been enjoying it a lot, and one day I might just be like these 3 men.
Reading is important to me because it's gonna help me on my future. It's gonna help me get into college. I think it'll help me a lot. And this book, it's really inspiring because these 3 men went through a lot in their childhood, but they didn't give up. They kept their goals and they became doctors.
Well, we're sitting in the Hip Hop Literacy Lab, which we established so that young students at Marbert can have a greater appreciation for literature. Hip hop is literature itself, and so when you hear Hip Hop Literacy Lab, you may think of music, but the fact is that hip hop is the modern day poetry. It's telling the stories of young people. And this is an example. These young men grew up in hip hop, but they're telling their story. And it may not be in a rhyming form, but they identify with hip hop. And I think it's important for us to make sure young people know that hip hop is much more than just music you hear on the radio, but it's also a lifestyle, and it's, giving back to our communities. We were just talking about why these 3 young men chose to be doctors, because, they wanted to give back to their communities, and that's important. So as they matriculate through school, it's important to keep in mind that your community needs you to come back and give back.